Hello, everyone. This is the Barbara Talks Business Podcast, and I am Barbara Carr with Fuse Empire. And today I have a special guest, and we will be talking about empowering your customer. So, if that is a topic that you are interested in, you want to pay attention to this show because we are going to give you all kinds of cool tips on how to empower your customers. And that goes for your current customers and even your potential customers. So, let me give you a little bit of boring information before we go on to the fun stuff. Podcast stats update. We now have 149 total downloads for Barbara Talks Business. So thank you to everybody who has downloaded this on whatever your favorite platform is. As you know, this is a newer podcast still. We're only in season 2. So those are pretty impressive statistics. So I thank you, every single person who's watching. And if you are watching right now, if you're watching live, we are both on YouTube and on Facebook. So say hello. If you are there watching live, let us know that you're here. I see that we do have some viewers. And so just say hi in the chat. If you have any questions as we go through this show, you are able to ask those in the chat. We will be paying attention to the chat, and Tim will be able to answer any questions you have as we go. So don't be shy about sharing your questions, comments, or anything like that. Participate with us in the chat. You'll feel like you're here with us. All right. So next we have, let's see, this is season 2, episode 14. So we are just getting started. And today's guest is Tim Fealy, and he is with Hometown Happenings. You will learn a lot about Tim and his company and what he has to offer and how you can get involved during this show. If you love what Tim has to share and you're just dying to know more about him and to connect with him, we will give you all of his contact information at the end. So make sure that you stay tuned. All right, Tim. So first thing, I'm going to give you just a moment to say hello, and then I'll tell the group a little bit about you, and then we'll go into our topic.
Okay. I'm Tim Fealy. I run a company called Hometown Happenings. The purpose of the company is to connect family and friends with each other and to their community. We do this by organizing various community events throughout Northwest Indiana.
Yes. And so, Tim, you've been doing this for more than 20 years, correct?
I've done Hometown Happenings for like the last 10 or 11 years. I've organized community events for 20 plus years through other organizations.
Very nice. And so the events that are offered include runs and walks, artisan markets, concerts, movie nights, and some pretty important things have happened at some of Tim's events. Helicopters, movie props, one of the most famous guns in history, and even a space shuttle astronauts have all made appearances at Tim's events. So they do not lack fun. I will tell you that. When you show up at one of Tim's events, there will always be something to grab your attention and something for you to tell your friends about when you go back home. All right, so Tim, let me tell them a little bit about Hometown Happenings. I know that you shared just a bit there as well, but those of you who are listening who may not know about Hometown Happenings yet, Hometown is essentially right here in the region, Northwest Indiana. I know that we have some people who are outside of the region who are watching this, and Tim has done events that were available to people all across the world, but I do know most of his events are right here in the region, primarily in Crown Point, Indiana. So he does create these themed community events which empower families and friends to build lifelong memories and stronger relationships among themselves and with their community as a whole. So the events that he has, first of all, I love the names of them and the purposes behind them. And one of those events we're going to talk about later on in the show because it's coming up this weekend. So we'll bring that up later in the show. But let's go ahead and move on now to our topic. I mean, we're going to talk about empowering your customer. So, Tim, let's start with the first one, connecting your customer to you.
So for connecting your customer to you, and I'll just use the most common thing we do are runs. And so I'll use running as the example, or having people come out to the races. So for me, we connect to the customers in several ways. And when connecting the person to you, we're trying to provide something at the race or at the event that will let them, make a connection to that particular event. One of our first events was a Santa run. And so we would provide different fun activities at the event, and they're responding to it. So that's connecting them to us. So
Yeah.
that's where it starts first.
Yeah, really, and with one another, because yeah, they come with their group of friends, but then they meet other groups of friends while they're there, right? And I know that you have vendors set up at some of these events, so then we
Right.
get to meet some of the local businesses in the community as well. And like I said, most of my followers here are business owners. So if you are somebody who wants to find out how to get involved either as a participant or a sponsor, you'll want to make sure you pay attention to the end of the show, because we will give Tim's information.
Excellent.
Okay, so I want to mention a couple of things about my friend Tim before we go on to the next tip. The first thing is that Tim really does walk the walk. He doesn't just have this fancy mission statement that is like, hey, we empower people to do this. He really, truly does it. So I want to give you some examples that I've just noticed in my own experience with Tim. And I know that anyone else is watching this now, if you know Tim, you have an amazing experience too, and feel free to share that. But for one thing is that connecting families and communities, right? Creating memories. When Tim found out that my son James was having his 18th birthday, and I was telling Tim just in casual conversation of, I want to take him and surprise him to this mission escape room, and we're gonna have so much fun. And Tim, being a person who wants to connect people with their families and their community and create those memories, he insisted that he be able to give James this birthday gift of paying for the experience for our family. Now, how sweet is that when somebody says, hey, I realize that your family wants to do this, let me help. Right? So Tim, thank you for that. We did have a wonderful experience. We shared on Facebook. But you guys, that experience, even though that was our family experience, whenever we think of that experience, we also will think of Tim and Hometown Happenings, because Tim helped make that happen. Now, we were very well okay paying for that on our own, and everything would have been just the same, other than the fact that we wouldn't correlate it with Tim and Hometown Happenings. But now we do, because Tim took part in that. Even though he wasn't there with us, he still took part in that birthday celebration. So thank you, Tim, for really walking what you preach.
You're very welcome. A lot of it, so we're talking about connecting with your customer today. And so I know you are a kingdom-based business. And so one thing I just keep in mind always is try to treat people the way you would want to be treated.
Yes.
And when they come to the event, so if we do a half marathon in September, and a fella came to the event, and we always have a price increase the day of the event, because there's extra work involved if you come to the event the day of to process the registration and so forth. So we kick up the price, and it's really to help. We want as much as possible for people to plan ahead and to, register ahead, because that helps us prepare.
Yeah.
So a father came, and let's say he had, I forget, maybe 3 kids. And he's like, I didn't realize that there would be this price increase. And now he's like, it's totally my fault, but now it's costing me this much money, and I only brought this much money. And I'm like, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm like, you're planning to pay like the pre-registration price? I'm like, here, I don't want you to have to, pay all this extra. Just go ahead and do it for this price. And so he was able to do that, but then I don't even know who that guy was. And by no means am I encouraging anyone to come race day and expect pre-registration prices, because we want to discourage that. But in this one instance, I met him again through a friend, and he says to me, "Wait, you're Tim from Hometown Happenings. I met
Yep.
you last year. I was short, I was short all the money for my kids, and you still gave it to us for this price." He's like, "That meant the world to me. Thank you for doing that." And I'd completely forgotten about that. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's cool. I'm glad you had a great experience."
Yeah. And so, and like, that's what I said too. When people who are watching this, if you know Tim, you have probably experienced something like this, whether you've only known Tim for a day or 10 years, he's probably done something kind that you've witnessed, either directly or indirectly, that you just can't help but remember Tim from Hometown Happenings.
You're very kind.
Oh, you are very kind, Tim. All right, so let's go on to connecting the customer to the hero in them.
So we started with, when you come to the run, we want there to be some reason you come to that specific run. For instance, this Sunday we have a Mother's Day run. So we're trying to come up with all kinds of reasons why you would want to come out to our Mother's Day run this Sunday, 8 a.m. at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Crown Point. Once we've connected you to our event, then the next thing we want to do is we want to connect you to the hero in you. And we do that in a number of ways. One thing, you may be coming to our event to make a certain goal. That goal could be to run a faster 5K, to run your first 5K. You have all kinds of reasons. And so I want to set up that event to enable you to reach whatever goal you have set out for yourself. And it could just be that, I haven't run in months and now I'm coming back to run. Or you might have set a goal just to be out walking. And maybe you're not walking at all, but you just want to have some sort of level of activity in your life. And now you're saying, okay, I'm going to bring my friend with me. I'm going to bring my family with me. We're just going to start trying to be active. And maybe that's the hero you want to be. It's just somebody who's more active in their own life.
Yeah. And Tim, I want to give you another plug here because when I was doing my 30 days of free marketing tips for tools, tips, and training to grow your business, Tim had shared with me about an Amazon wish list. And he said, you should teach on that. And I was like, Tim, I don't know what that is. And so Tim actually offered to do training in my group on Amazon wish list, how you can bless people just because for no reason you have their wish list and you just bless them whenever. So Tim did this training and he actually positioned me as the hero in this because it was my group. And I didn't expect that. I expected, Tim was doing all this great stuff. I was going to just sit behind the scenes. But people started saying, Barbara, what's your wish list? I want to buy you something. And so before I knew it, my whole group was gathering each other's wish lists and buying gifts for each other randomly. Some of them more than others, some of them received more than others, but not one person felt cheated or like everybody was excited to be part of this randomized gifting that Tim introduced us to. And again, being the leader of the group, it made me look like some kind of hero that I was like, I didn't even know what this was 2 days ago.
So
So
Barbara
that was
introduced
awesome.
me. Barbara introduced me to this book by Donald Miller, Building
Yep,
Your Brand,
your story
and
brand.
Building Your Story Brand. And in it, if you're the business owner, business leader, you want to position yourself as the guide for the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Your customer is always the hero in their own story. A lot of businesses, I'm not saying a lot, some businesses, they will tell you how great they are. We're number one in sales. We're number one in the Chicagoland area. They promote themselves as the hero. And not that that strategy doesn't work, but also it confuses the customer because the customer wants to be the hero of their own story. They don't want you to be the hero of their story. And
Right.
so when we relate it to our events, the hero of the story is the participant who comes to the run or walk. Myself as the guide, I'm just there to set up the event, to set up the situation, the morning, so that whatever goal they're trying to achieve, I'm the guide in helping them make that happen for themselves.
Well, Tim, how do we get the customer to trust us as their guide?
Did you read the book too? You tell me, Barbara.
This is your show today, Tim.
Yes. I think we do that in a number of ways. Really by example. The first time they come out, we give them a very positive experience. We, as Barbara said, we have them connect with their family and friends. We have it so it's really positive. They're having a fun time. It's a great experience for them. And maybe at that one, even if they're not achieving their goal, they know it's been a positive experience. And now they sign up for the next event. And at that point, then I'm hoping that they trust that if they sign up for the events, that they always know it's a positive experience. They're going to feel well supported. We never want someone to be out there like feeling alone. Years ago, a fellow business owner, also in the athletic business world, said to me, a lot of people won't sign up for a race because they're afraid of being the last person out on the course. They don't want that stigma, that anxiety. That's a big fear of theirs. And so one thing we started doing at our races is we have a designated last finisher. So if you come to a Hometown Happenings race, we have our friend David, who is a former Marine. And David, he'll finish his race and then he goes back out. He finds that last person and he walks back with them. So they never have to feel like they're on their own. We always want people to feel that they're very well supported.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't even know that. I am looking forward to meeting David at the Mother's Day race. Hopefully I'm not the last one.
If you are, you'll meet him sooner.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, let's move on to then connecting your customer to a greater purpose.
So for our events, I'll use the Mother's Day run, which is coming up this Sunday. We first connect you with us, and you're hopefully seeing some benefit for coming out to our event. Then we connect you with your hero, meaning that if you're coming to the event, hopefully you've got a little goal in mind. Maybe I'm going to run faster. Maybe I'm just going to run my first 5K. Maybe I'm going to use this event to start being active and more focused with my family. And then, as Barbara says, the third one, connecting you to the greater purpose. For us, we try to have a charity or an organization for each of the events that we put on that will show support to. So for Mother's Day, we're teaming up with Mommy's Haven, which is a local maternity home in Lowell, Indiana. And they help new moms. And new moms can be in any situation where once they find out they're pregnant, they might be kicked out of the house by a boyfriend. They might be kicked out of their house by a parent who doesn't approve. And so these women need a place to go to have their babies and to feel supported. And I might misspeak, but I believe in the past 2 years, they've helped 26 new moms, and within their facility, they've had 10 new babies born. So
Aww.
They're doing quite a bit of work. And so with Sunday's event, the tagline is for moms to come out and support new moms, which is what we'll do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Okay, Tim, let's talk a little bit about Rockstar treatment because you are so good at Rockstar treatment. And before I let you say your take on it, I want to share another thing that I experienced with Tim Fealy. I received beautiful cards like this with beautiful pictures that one of Tim's friends, what's her name that does these?
It's Bonnie Meyer.
Bonnie Meyer takes these beautiful pictures, puts them on cards, and then Tim puts a handwritten note inside telling me how much he appreciates me for doing things like hosting free classes, right? That I do anyway. And most of the time, I think people appreciate it, but they forget to say it. Tim never forgets to say that he appreciates you. So, and at least not that I've seen in my own experience, and even in some of the friends that we have mutual friends, and they would agree that like Tim is very good at giving people rock star treatment, making them feel like some type of celebrity. And so, Tim, talk a little bit about that, why that's important to you.
Okay, to go back to you being a kingdom-based business, I was struggling with my own relationship. And so a pastor friend of mine, he says, well, try to help us with the food pantry. It's not saying you have to come to church, but just come out to the food pantry. Yeah. And so I'm like, I can do that. I can help with that. And he says, after we have our food pantry, we have a breakfast, a community breakfast. And even though you're not taking part in the food pantry, you're just a regular person in our community. We want you to come too. And he says, do you know why I want you to come out? I'm like, I don't know. And he says, because I want people to see the God in you as you see the God in others. And
good.
That always stuck with me. And so with the rock star treatment, even if you're coming across people who are, I don't know, they woke up grumpy that morning, or if they're not at an event, if you just like see them on the street, maybe they're disagreeable, whatever the situation is, we try to make it so, you know, from a kingdom-based point of view, you would say that you want to find the God inside of them and show the respect for that.
I love that. And you know what? Speaking of the God inside of you, I want to give another testimony, and it's an interesting story, a little bit funny. And I know I've shared this with Tim recently, and I told Tim that I was going to share this on here. And so I want to share with you guys a story of how I perceived this and how a lot of people probably do. So Tim is this nice guy that I met through the business world. We met through Toastmasters actually. And so he just was so kind from the beginning, right? And really treated me like a celebrity from the beginning before he even knew my talents and skills. And I remember one time telling my husband that it was weird that this other man was being really kind to me, even like insist on buying lunch and like just different things. And I thought, is that weird that another man is doing this for a married woman? And my husband responds as, well, is he hitting on you? And I said, no, that's the weird thing. Like, he doesn't flirt with me, or like he genuinely is just being a nice guy. And then so my husband Isaac says, so he's loving people the way Jesus told us to. And I was like, well, yeah, but like, I'm married. And Isaac goes, do you think Jesus wouldn't have loved a married person? And so here I'm thinking, and then as I'm like, my wheels are turning, trying to justify what society thinks would be weird, my husband says, babe, he's doing what Jesus told us all to do. We could learn from him. And so I was like, okay, it doesn't have to be weird, but society makes it weird when men and women are kind to each other, and it doesn't have to be. So I encourage you, if you're one of those people who look at relationships of mixed sexes and think, why are they being so nice to each other? Something must be going on. That's really not the case. We all should be loving each other that way. The way that Jesus loves us, we all should love one another. So Tim, thank you for portraying Jesus's love to our family.
You're very kind. You talk about the rock star treatment. So to me, that's if you treated everybody like they were a rock star, and then if people treated you like a rock star, then that just elevates everyone. What a great community or neighborhood or world this would be if everybody either sees the God in each other, or if you were to just give everybody that celebrity treatment. Because if I'm feeling better about myself, you're feeling better about yourself, that's going to help motivate you to do better for other people as well.
It sure does. Yep. And you know, Tim, I have learned from you because since then I have stepped up my game on treating people like a rock star as well. So
Thank you.
yes. Now, Tim, I want to talk about your run that is coming up for Mother's Day. And you guys, I will be at this one. This would be my first Hometown Happenings run that I attend. It will be my second 5K ever. And after we talk about Tim's run, I'll share with you my first experience of a run so that you can have another laugh. Tim, tell us about the Run Like a Mother event.
So the Run Like a Mother, it's this Sunday, 8 a.m. at the Lake County Fairgrounds.
What is the date this Sunday?
Sunday, May 9th. And registration starts at 7 a.m. You can sign up for the run at hometownhappenings.net. We offer like several perks to coming out to the run. It's superhero themed. So we have a few superheroes, including Batman and Hawkeye, who will be joining us that day. We have a superhero costume contest. We have gifts for moms who come out. We offer a hot breakfast after the event. We have mimosas afterwards. In each of these things, as you come out, again, we're trying to treat you like the rock star by offering you the breakfast, the mimosas, the costume contest, offering a gift for moms who come out. We also have a Marvelous Mom contest, and we have found a winner, which we will announce that day. And that winner is going to get $400 worth of prizes, including jewelry and a new pair of running shoes.
Oh, that sounds so fun. Tell people a little bit about the contest, about how these people were nominated.
So they were nominated by anyone who found us either through Hometown Happenings or our Facebook page. And it was to share the photo of the mom you wanted to nominate and 300 words or less of why they should be nominated, why they're a marvelous mom. We have a mutual friend in Amber Wagner, and she was nominated as one of the moms.
Yay! And I hope she wins.
We'll find out Sunday.
Okay.
And so with that, people could vote by liking the photo, liking Hometown Happenings, and then we judged ourselves, but also kept count of the number of likes and the popularity of the photos and so forth. And as I said, we'll make that announcement on Sunday.
Oh, how exciting. I can't wait to hear. I'm sure they're all marvelous moms. Okay, so Tim mentioned sign up for this run at hometownhappenings.net. And I want to just give you guys a fun little story about my first experience with a run, which was probably about 3 or 4 years ago now. I am not a runner by any means, but my sister, we were at I think it was like for Halloween, we were at a bonfire, and I heard my brothers and my sister, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, I heard the 3 of them talking about doing this hot chocolate race, this like run at 5K. Now mind you, they all are okay with running and sports and athletics and stuff. I'm more like, I'd like to sit at the computer and make things happen there. And so I overhear them, and first I go and I'm like, hey, what are you guys talking about? I want to do that. And they kind of giggled like, you couldn't run? And I was like, yes, I could. And so that fueled me to want to run, because they truly believed I couldn't. And quite honestly, I don't think I really could have at that time. But once I made the commitment, when they told me, hey, there's chocolate at the end of the race, I was like, I could do anything for chocolate. So I signed up with them. And then I tell my friend Kelly, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to run for 5K? How far is that? Like, I didn't even know what I got myself into. Then when we learned that it was only about 3 miles, I was like, oh, that'd be easy. You guys, I couldn't even walk for a mile at that time without feeling like I was dead. And so luckily it was 4 weeks in advance. So I did do a little bit of training, but not as much as I should have. I like ran or jogged like once or twice a week with my friend, went on the elliptical, stuff like that. And so I got myself kind of in shape, but then we get there. And then my sister says, well, let's all just stay together during the race. Let's not try to beat each other or anything like that. Let's stay together. But in my head, you guys, I had already made a commitment that I was going to beat all 4 of them because they didn't think I could do it. And so, but we're like, okay, let's just run together. Well, then they wanted to run the whole time, or at least jog, no walking. And I was like, no, I can't do that. But they were so sweet. Every time one of us wanted to walk, they'd run up next to us. Usually one of my brothers, they're in better shape than my sister and I, and they'd be like, come on, you got it. And so you guys, we did the whole 5K jogging mostly without any walking. But the best part, as soon as we could see the finish line, and I don't know much about, meters or anything like that. I don't know how far it was, but we could see the finish line. We were almost there. And I see all my siblings next to me and we're running. And remember, in my head, I was like, I'm going to beat them because they don't think I could do it. And at the time, was I the only, I think I might have been the only one with kids at the time. So this might have been 5 or 6 years ago then, because like I was the mom. I don't remember for sure, but either way, I was the one that was like the old lady. And so we get real close. And when, man, I start thinking I'm going to gun it. And I gun it. And then my brother starts gunning it behind me. Like he knew what I was doing and he was going to beat me. So I like gave it my all, you guys. I was like, if I die beating him, I'm going to beat him. And I did by like a half a second. And like, I will just never forget that. I don't ever like tell him, I don't ever remind them that, hey, I beat you. Because really I wasn't fair and waiting till the end. But it was so empowering. And so this race, I have my new family with me. Obviously, my siblings are my original family. But this race, the Mother's Day run, I have my husband and my children coming to do this race with me. So I'm so excited.
The thing you mentioned is really interesting because so many times we encourage people to look at the running or the walking or the activity. So whether you run, walk, bike, if you're lifting weights, if you're kayaking, whatever you're doing, we try to look at it as to set goals for yourself, because if you can set goals for yourself in running or walking, then for me, there's a spillover to the rest of your life. So it could be as simple as I'm going to walk down to get the mail every day. Once I walk to the mailbox, maybe I will walk to the end of the block. If I've walked to the end of the block, maybe the next time I'm going to try to run to the end of the block. And then maybe just run or walk a little bit further. For myself, as I've set these smaller goals and I see that I'm achieving those goals, it helps me in my day-to-day life to think, okay, I'm going to set this as a goal at work and try to achieve that goal. And once I've made that goal, set a new goal. I feel that the physical activity is a really easy way to get yourself in the habit of setting and achieving goals.
Yeah, I like that. And so if I'm thinking of a goal for this run, I think it would be to just finish it again.
No, that's
because
perfect.
I honestly don't remember what my time was all those years ago. Like I said, it was so long ago. And I've never really had an interest to do something like this again until I connected with Tim, and he makes these events sound so fun. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to come try this one. And he held me to it because I said I was going to try it. And he said, all right, well, let's sign up. And we signed me up. And at first I was like, I don't know about that. But now I truly am excited. I can't wait to do this with my family. I want to mention Sarita had put a comment in the chat that said, can you put the link for the run in the chat? So I did that for you, Sarita. It's in there. Anybody else who's looking for an easy way to just click the link and be able to go to the run, I put that in the chat on YouTube. So if you're watching this on Facebook, it is hometownhappenings.net. One of us will put the link in later there if it'll make it easier for you. But Sarita, thank you for watching and thank you for participating and asking questions. Anyone else who might be watching this right now, we encourage you to participate in the chat as well, especially in a moment. We're about to do our fun segment. So, all right, Tim, do you have anything else you want to say about the Mother's Day race before we go on?
I think it's very powerful that you're bringing your kids with you, because I'm not sure how active they are, but I think it's super important that you're active as a family. And the more we could use our events to encourage people to be active as families, I just find that so powerful, because not only are you doing something healthy and positive for each member of your family, but also you're helping to make those connections and make those memories between you and your kids and with your husband.
I love that. Yeah. You know, my son is actually very active during football season,
Yes,
but
he
football
is.
season's over now. So he's not been very active. And, you know, he jokes about that he's gaining weight while he's holding a soda in his hand. And I'm like, oh boy. And then my daughters and I, we're very homebound. You know,
Right.
I homeschool them, so we're home a lot, and we could use the activity together.
Right.
Isaac just has a super high metabolism, so I don't think he could gain weight if he wanted to. So, all right, let's move on. Now, next I want to do the segment that I call brag time. Now, brag stands for Barbara's Random Acknowledgement of Greatness. And today I would like to brag on a leader that I follow very closely behind. Her name is Pastor Susie Bashta. She is the one who is organizing my Roar Bible School, her and her husband, and they've pretty much done the whole curriculum together. Well, I want to thank Susie for leading the way so effortlessly and gracefully, because you guys, this woman is phenomenal in so many ways. She's a mother herself, grandmother. Like I said, she runs the Roar program. She's a pastor at our church. She helps in a lot of ways at the church and in the community as well. But she has a background in nursing and a midwife. And you guys, she is currently enrolled in college courses to be a doula. Okay, after everything that she's done, she is still going back to school to continue to learn and to continue to grow. And I honestly don't know how old Pastor Susie is, and there's no way I'm guessing here on a live show. But like I said, she's a mother and a grandmother. She has adult children, and she is still growing and leading, and she just does it so amazingly. Like I actually had said to Isaac recently, I hope I'm like Pastor Susie when I'm older. Like, I really do. I look up to her so much. And so I just want to brag on how amazing she is. So, okay, let's move on now to our next segment. You guys, this segment still doesn't have a name, mostly because I've not done a podcast in about 3 weeks because of my cousin being in the hospital, and then we were on vacation and things were just rough. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me during all of that. But we still need a name for this upcoming session that is like sort of like this or that. But again, I don't want to call it this or that. That's boring. And I don't see myself as boring. Some of you might, but I don't. So if you want to win $50 cash, it's still up for grabs. I'd like to see some entries in here. Tim, maybe you could help teach me how to get some people putting entries in for the contest.
We can work on that.
Yeah. So some of the some of the responses that we've gotten so far, good or better, presenter's choice, quick fire questions. So again, none of those are completely out of the running, but I just didn't love them yet. So we'll see. So if you have a name for this next segment, put it in the chat on YouTube. I'm only looking on the YouTube video because we post this so many places that I'm only looking on YouTube for the entries. So if you have something that you would like to add as an entry for a name for this segment, put it on the YouTube video. All right, Tim, you've watched the videos. You know how it goes. I'll give you 2 words and you just respond with whatever. Your response does not need to be 1 word. I encourage you to go into it in further detail. Tell us why you picked an answer. And then if you're watching this live, or even if you're watching it as a replay, put in the comments what your answer is to each of these questions.
Mhm.
All right, Tim, first question for you. Run or walk?
For myself, run, but I would choose walking over just sitting on the couch.
Okay. Now, you also, is it correct that you also allow bicycling at your events, or is that something different?
That's something different. We do offer a nighttime ride. This year it's July 23rd, which is a Friday night. It leads from Bulldog Park. It's a 10-mile ride. I feel it's maybe different from it's not a competitive ride, so it's different from other, let's say, competitive rides that are longer distances or maybe don't encourage the family as much. We purposely have the ride start a little earlier, so if you have young children, they're not staying up past their bedtime.
Oh, that's amazing. I look forward to doing that. I don't yet own a bicycle, but believe it or not, I had a dream last night that I bought a bicycle, and I don't remember what it looked like, but I remember having that dream. And I don't know why. I've not been planning to buy one, so I don't know why I had that dream.
Right.
Okay, question number 2. Well, let's see if we have anyone in the chat that responded to that one. Oh, well, before actually, not a response to that question, but Sarita asked, is it walk or run, and can I bring my children? Yes, Sarita, I think you might have had that answered on the last few moments. But yes, the Mother's Day run, and actually all of Tim's runs, I believe, are walk or run, and you can bring the family.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, next question. Music or art?
I love people who love art, but generally music's what moves me.
Okay. Is there a certain artist or genre that you prefer?
It would be too hard to pin it down to just one. As a runner, you tend to look for motivational music. And for myself, it's like having that really heavy beat to the music because that keeps you not only like during your physical activity, sometimes to just start your day in the morning. It's very nice to have that positive, heavy beat song going first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I found it interesting when a group of friends of mine, we just went to the Flourish Women's Conference in Wisconsin, and on our way home, we carpooled. My friend Mary had introduced us to this, like, I don't remember what it's called, but I think it was on Pandora, and it was like upbeat music because she's a runner. It's upbeat music, but it was like our Christian songs, like Amazing Grace had this upbeat, and I was like, I just I can't picture Amazing Grace being upbeat, but it sounded really cool, and I was like, I want to download that. Oh, that reminds me, I should invite Mary to the run. She is a runner. She would like that. I'm going to put some invites out here today. Okay, so let's move on to the third and final question, Tim. Cats or dogs?
I had a cat for 22 years. I got it. It was actually my sister's cat before it was mine. And my sister left on vacation. And during that time, the cat just took to me. She would follow me around like a puppy. And we just bonded in the biggest, best way. And when my sister came back, the cat ran from her and came to me. And at that point, my sister's like, that's fine. You just keep the cat, which I felt bad for my sister, but also the cat and I formed a little bond. And now, having told you that entire story, I really love dogs. My other sister has a German Shepherd, which I call my niece. And there's just nothing like playing ball and maybe being like a little rough and wrestling with a big dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Buddy,
you know me.
I like Buddy so much.
Yeah. I was gonna say I love my buddy so much. He's always right at my feet somewhere, He's always like at arm's length. That if I need him, he's there. He's my bestie. All right, so Tim, it is that time of the show where we're going to give some of your contact information out if people are looking for it. So if you guys have questions or comments that you'd like to connect with Tim or just connect with him because he's an awesome guy, you can do that. So we're going to give some information. Tim, what would you like to start with contact-wise?
You can reach me personally at tim@yourhometownevents.com.
Okay.
And if you would want to visit the website, the easiest choice is hometownhappenings.net, or you can use yourhometownevents.com. Either website's going to get you the same location, and on it you will see the events that we have coming up. You'll have information about our hometown market that is starting up this coming Tuesday, and it's going to be every Tuesday from May through October, and fairgrounds from 5 to 8 p.m.
Yes, and Fuse is a preferred partner, so I will be giving free business tips for you to take with you every week. So when you show up, you'll have a little piece of paper, kind of like a flyer, that you could just take with you of a free business tip, different one each week.
Barbara, to me,
Okay,
I have to interrupt you. That's so powerful to me because from my perspective, as you know, I'm a big fan. You have such a knowledge of business, and many of these people who are coming to the market, they're just starting up their own businesses. So I think it's going to be such a wonderful connection to put them in touch with you and have your knowledge available to them.
yeah, so I have my list of topics here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but because you do 10 weeks, 8 weeks, and then 10 weeks, right? And so every week has a new topic, you guys. So some of them I'll give you a little teaser. Um, let's see, creating a strong foundation, building your support team, figuring out your vision, mission, and core values, creating systems and processes, learning to automate and to delegate, resources and tools, prospecting purposefully, social media marketing, website design, video marketing, love languages marketing, which is something that I made up myself. I haven't given it, whatever, but there's all kinds of marketing. But one of the marketings that I use I call it love languages marketing. And I'm going to teach you about that through one of these free tips. And then word of mouth marketing. There's so much. So those are just some of the ones listed on here. And then of course, time management. You guys know that's my big thing. Most of my followers follow me because of my time management. And so all of that and more you guys will get just by showing up at Tim's events.
That's cool.
Okay, and then Tim, on social media, they can find you either by your name, Tim Fealy, Hometown Happenings, or Hometown Events.
Yep.
Let's see. Now we have a practical next move action step, which is, you guys, if you like what Tim had to share and you want to learn how to treat people like a rock star and empower your customer, step one is to just find a way to give your customer or customers, or even just someone in your life, rock star treatment. So think about it. If you're a spiritual person, ask God, who should I bless today? How can I bless them? And always be looking for ways to do that, but start with one person and one gesture. Okay.
Now, in saying that, I think it's really important to start with somebody that maybe you wouldn't normally start with. It might be the grumpy neighbor. It might be the person who just doesn't quite fit in, or who's a little awkward. Like maybe they need a little special extra attention. So start with that person.
Oh, Tim, I love that. And you know what, you guys, I will share a story, and I won't say who because I really am working on building a relationship with this person. But I sent flowers to somebody who she and I did not have we weren't on great terms, but I wanted to be. So I sent her flowers, and I do believe the Lord directed me to. And she texted me and said, I can't accept these flowers because I don't want to like you. And I appreciated the honesty, right? I didn't take offense to it. I could have. The old me would have taken offense to it and started a fight. But I thought, you know what? God wants me to love her. I want to love her. I'm gonna keep working on this relationship either until it becomes better or I die, right? And so then I've sent her cards, and you guys, we're not best friends to this day, but we communicate now in a nice way. Like we will text each other. It's amazing how just a couple months ago this person would not accept my flowers, and now we laugh and joke together. Again, not best friends at this point. Maybe someday. I really hope to have a great relationship with her. But I like that you said that. Start with somebody who maybe you wouldn't think to start with.
I was at dinner recently, and there was a local pastor at the dinner. And so I waited for him to have his time free up. And the reason I wanted to reach out to him is because really politically, we couldn't be further apart. And so because there's such a huge difference between us, I want to somehow find a way to build a bridge because there's going to be some way we can connect. And so at the end of that dinner, I said to him, hey, we have a mutual friend in Barbara Carr. And he's like, oh my gosh, I love Barbara. She's so wonderful. We love her family, and just went on and on. And so we made that little connection with Barbara Carr. And now the next time, maybe we're going to connect on something else. But rather than just always see each other as being so different, try to find those little ways to bridge each other.
That is really cool. That I didn't even know that story. That was the first time I heard it, y'all. Okay, so now Tim, when you filled out the application, I know it's been months ago, so a lot of times people forget what they put on the application by that time. But I said, what can you offer for free to Fuse fans? And you said that we could give away a couple or some entries into upcoming events. So I put in parentheses that this is limited and on a first come, first served basis. So if you would like to find out how to get a free entry into an event, you need to contact Tim Fealy.
Yep.
Okay, so we are wrapping up the show. I'm going to check and see if there are any questions in the chat before we go. It doesn't look like it, but if you're still here and you have a question, now's the time to ask it. And I want to remind people that Barbara Talks Business is every Tuesday at 2 p.m. And we have shows for the rest of May scheduled and even the first week of June, I believe. But after that, I believe I will be taking a summer break to just spend time with my children. And when I return in either August or September, the show may be a bit different. So I have a survey out to find out what kinds of things that people are looking for. Like, do you want it to continue being on video and audio, or just audio, or just video? Do you like it being an hour long, or would you prefer it to be 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever? Do you like me having just one guest on here, or would you like me to have multiple guests, or would you like it to be just Barbara, right? And so if you have not filled out that survey yet, send me a message and I'll send it to you, because I really do want to know your feedback as we prep for the next season of Barbara Talks Business. Tim, is there anything you'd like to say before we get off of here?
I just encourage people to be out and be active, to connect with their friends and family, to be the rock star to one another, to follow myself and follow Barbara, and to just try to lift each other up.
Thank you, Tim. I will also give those of you who are watching this a little teaser. You guys are the first to know, but Fuse is doing a bit of a rebranding, and I have an awesome lady, Christy, helping me do that. And our rebranding is set to launch in June. And actually, Tim, at your events, I will have the first things that the rebranding is on are going to show up at your events, actually, but it's not going to be public until June, but in May they'll be at your events. And then I do also want to, before we jump off, I want to acknowledge some people who are behind the scenes in Tim's company. I know that Abby and Elise have been very helpful in what you're doing, Tim, so I want to give you a quick second to give them a shout out as well.
For our hometown market, Abby has just taken over as far as putting in systems and responding to the vendors and setting up the market and always just being available to everybody. The reason we wanted to get behind the market as an idea was coming off the pandemic. A lot of people started up little baby businesses, and we thought, how great would it be if you could go from making, a few dollars a month to making it a business where it could help support your family. So we really love the idea of being able to help tiny, tiny businesses become bigger businesses. And with that, we really love the idea that on a Tuesday evening, there's not much to do. So what a great way to bring together the community to come out for something fun and interesting each and every week. So Abby has made all of that happen. And Elise is a mutual friend that Barbara and I have, and she has an Edward Jones business on Summit Street here in Crown Point. And Elise could not be a bigger, more supportive friend, not only to myself or to Barbara, but just to everybody who comes into her life. So she always makes you feel like whatever project you're involved in, not only will she help you, but she's going to push you to be bigger and further, further along.
Yeah, and she helped you do the hometown, what were those videos called?
We're still doing them. Yeah, we're still doing them. One of our guests was Barbara Carr, and you'll find them on our hometownhappenings.net, and it's called Hometown Profiles, where we feature different people in our community that are making a difference, or different organizations that are bettering our community.
And are any of those available yet?
Yes, if you go to the website, you'll find the links to each of them. I believe we're waiting for a special moment to roll out the one with Barbara Carr.
Sounds good. All right. So I just checked the chat. I don't see any chats, any questions in the chat. So thank you, Tim, for being here. And thank you for everybody who's watching it and everyone who will be listening later when we move this to audio podcast. And if you have any feedback you'd like to give, please reach out to me and make sure you connect with Tim. I hope to see you all at the Mother's Day run on Sunday.
Thank you, Barbara.